Hey peoples. Yeah, listen, I'm back today to listen to my favorite in Griselda. I don't want to say favorite anymore because I don't want to like I've grown to love each member for different reasons, and every time I hear a song from each member of the Griselda crew, I get this equal amount of joy and happiness. So it's like very hard now, especially now that I listen to them more, to say Conway is my favorite, but he was initially my favorite, and it's like I am so excited to dive into this from king to a god. But I'm seeing some great stuff. I'm seeing Freddie Gibbs feature, I'm seeing Method Man feature, I'm also seeing Lloyd Banks, someone I've seen before, Westside and Benny of course there, and someone slightly new to me is El Camino. So, but I know I've seen him before. I'm very excited for this body of work. I'm very excited to react to it, review it, listen to it, all that jazz. I had to take a bit of a break from YouTube. There was a lot going on in the main world and also in my own personal life, and I just needed to take a break. But I'm back now, and I am ready to do those, to get back to talking my crap about music, because I know you guys like to see that. You like to see me waffle about music, so here I am to waffle for you guys. I just want to remind you about JB's Radar. The second episode will be coming out at the ending of this month. If you want to be in an episode of JB's Radar, if you want your work discussed, if you are creative and you want your tracks discussed, or you want your artwork discussed, or you want your music or your poetry discussed, any kind of art that you have and you want it showcased, send it to my email at jbsradar@gmail.com. You might just get the chance to be in my JB's Radar episode that I do monthly on my channel. There is a fee that is attached to this, but if you're willing to pay the fee, then before you know it, I'm talking about you and your work on my channel and why I enjoy it and why I like it and why it's great. So don't hesitate to send your work to that email down below.
Completely with this universe. You feel profound.
Oh, hold up. I am so I don't know whether you guys have peeped my new vinyl in the background. That's right, I said it right this time, vinyl. My new vinyl in the background, I got that freaking... I got this classic from the one and only Hove, The Blueprint. This right here is the blueprint to many rappers nowadays. It's a beautiful tape. I had to get it on vinyl. I'm so sorry, I got distracted. I was looking in the background. I was like, oh wait, I haven't discussed this. Not only am I back, but I'm back with a new vinyl.
That which it is which moves the sun and other stars.
Do you understand that switch there? How it went from like this ethereal trippy place to like the gutter? Don't you just love when they do that? I need to take that back.
Take one hit of this pressure, I'm feeling faded. So many verses of the year that I've written, I'm feeling jaded. Jail call, ask how we doing. Acting ungrateful and still complaining. Even though behind the scenes of this industry, shit is draining. I've been keeping behind my back about the shit that I bought. I bet them niggas is salt, cause I done stacked so much paper on my own that I can fill up a vault. Look, me and Shots, the new, not the same. I wrote this on the PJ with Ye. Look, you can't hold me. Ice the band of the rollie and put it right on the head. Like I'm Dan Tony, and my story is far from finished. I got my shoes off in them offices talking big and raw in the kitchen. And when I'm done cooking, I made that bitch wash the dishes.
From King was a very interesting intro to this album. It had this triumphant sound to it because it had that really powerful like electric guitar and that kind of metal electronic sound. It gave it that fire, that oomph that made it sound really majestic, made it feel really like dominant and domineering really. So I had that element to it, but then it also kind of just sounded very dark because of the way the tones were switching. So it went from like doo-doo, doo-doo. It's like the doo-doo makes it sound like, wow, this is hella majestic, and then the doo-doo is like, but wait, let me take it back to the gutter again. And that kind of topsy-turvy scene that was being created from the production. It was beautiful. We have Conway being very aggy here, kind of like demanding that respect and attention, saying, you know, call me a king, saying a lot of verses of the year have been, a lot of people saying verses of the year, album of the year, this guy's rapping like this, he's great, this, whatever. It's making me feel, he said, jaded, because he feels like, what's authentic if everything's being labeled great, if everything's being labeled GOAT status? Frustration being expressed there with all these people in the rap game being praised to the level that he thinks they shouldn't be praised to. They shouldn't be praised as much as they are possibly in Conway's eyes, because they're not real spitters. Overall, there was like this really hardcore message. Nothing was gentle, nothing was sugar coated. It was all, those rappers over there are whack, I'm king, I've been through this, I've got this status, it needs to be respected. You know what I mean? It was the perfect demanding intro. Then we got Fear of God, which we've had.
Land, but I dig the construction. Yeah. So fuck your top 5 if it ain't me. I came a long way from May Street.
Yes. I very much loved when I saw the Dej feature, because I feel like she's mega slept on. So I'm happy to see her there with someone I really appreciate in the hip-hop scene. It's how Fear of God has the undertones of From King in the back. It's still holding that doo-doo-doo-doo, just quieter, softer, with a few more effects on the top of it, making it sound a lot less aggy, but still maintaining that energy. I've also listened to Lemon feat Method Man, because I think that has come out beforehand as well. And I really did like that. We're gonna just play a little bit of it.
Love me in every ghetto, nigga, I'm famous.
Method Man is a big artist, and it's great to see him with Conway. His tone and his flow and the way he raps was very complimentary to Conway. And in a way, it was kind of echoing, like they were kind of echoing each other. Of course, they're different artists with different kind of sounds, but there's a similarity there which was harmonious and was great to hear on one track. So I've really liked Lemon, and you know, I'm a big fan of Method Man.
Alchemist.
Yeah, Alchemist, okay.
My bitch, I blew 40 on it. I'm the Don, cop the Don, threw 4G on it. Shot Dolo everywhere, wear every necklace. Draco on the seat, bitch, I'm well protected. They wonder where I made a bag. Two Bugattis on my wrist, look like the bracelet glass. Half a brick on the table, I know it ain't gon' last. So much fish scale, the shit looking like I aged the bag. The niggas hate, but it don't make us mad. I'm sitting courtside watching the Lakers play the Mavs. Hit the backwood twice, this a gas check. Never needed nothing from a bitch but an address. Yes.
Yeah, this is what I like. This is good.
Look, those street and Mayblock, that's where you niggas know me from. They wanna sell my man who pocket juice. Why this nigga gotta hold a gun? Cause I already got it. I already got it. They think they really understand how ill he is. I'm really Jay-Z, nigga, I'm really big. I see they listen, I'm person. Where you know me from? My little man gon' catch the body free. That nigga owe me one. Don't make us run down on you, don't shop it. I already got it.
I really like Doe and Damani. I love when we have that kind of out of tune singing that Griselda is fond of doing. Westside does it a few times, and Conway's done it a bit. He's done it here. Already got it. Sounds like so awkward, and because of that awkwardness, it adds this edginess to the track. It adds this like dark, sinister kind of atmosphere to the track, because it's like an awkward tone of voice. I'm talking like awkwardness, like uncomfortability, like you're uncomfortable because you're listening to this, because it just makes it really sound really unnerving, basically. I like the beat change of Doe and Damani. That was great for me. The second half of it was what I love to hear, those discordant keys. Wait, so we've got Havoc here as well, and that's big. Like, he's big. He was part of Mobb Deep. Like, this is great.
Fill it backwards, break the gas down and fill it backwards. I just opened the stack, it was back prime when Country Mike died, my heart broke. On the yard, get your jaw poked. As far as the bars wrote, not only did I raise the bar broke.
Yeah.
You better pray that bitch jam up when we do this. I need new.
I'm gonna say you better hope it jams when we do it, because we ain't joking. We're really gonna let it rip. So if it jams, it's your lucky day.
Yeah. You know, bitch, brains all over the whip. The clock ticking.
Brains all over the whip. Oh my gosh, he said your neurons. Is it neurons? Let me get my science right. Neurons. Yeah! He said your neurons is gonna be on the hood of the car. That is, I'm loving Juvenile Hell. It's going straight to the playlist. The minute I heard this beat, I was so excited to hear Havoc on it because it was so reminiscent to what Havoc used to rap on back in the day. So to have Havoc, that is just really harmonious, this kind of feature. Lloyd Banks is also a very good feature. So this is just very exciting. And it being titled Juvenile Hell with, you know, that Mobb Deep tape, and then it's just having Havoc on there, it's just great. It's great to hear this.
Meanwhile, in the boroughs, niggas streets got touched. Police got snuffed after he got bust. I turned a body to and on the grass. Now I'm on tours, no more crack. Pitching on the ass. Sickest in the city, got the quickest hitters with me. My Cali
Niggas know what time it is. I be no clips. Reload, bitch. Your brains all over the whip. The clock tick, tick, tick. Brains all over the whip. The clock tick, tick, tick.
42 and pre-rolled hits. I'm riding dirty, policing without the sheets. Don't know what's going on in my mind. Lately your favorite rappers have all been on a decline. I fell back and got better both times. It's PCP and quick lines. I'm on my round.
Oh, the freaking like gravel sound to Lloyd Banks' voice is just perfect for this track. Juvenile Hell is insanity. It's just great. I love the homage that was paid there. I love the features. We had Flea Lord as well doing his thing. Flea Lord did very well. As I'm only just getting introduced to Flea Lord. Loved Havoc's bit and loved Lloyd Banks' bit a lot. The hook was great. It was gutterish. It was catchy. It was just what I needed.
Conway's one. First of all, I have to state that Conway's one of the greatest lyricists that I've heard. Like, period.
Okay.
Machine, bitch, your favorite rappers wanna be me. See me, got the lamb in my name like CD. I put food in the oven and I ain't talking CD. Cause I'm a boss, not just a rapper. I don't see no opponents. A nigga hating that he just caught in the heat of the moment. I've had the roar with the suicide doors. My bro cut a nigga upstate, they threw him 5 more. That grimy all my niggas outside, we outside. Niggas fresher than we gon' slide. Hope you got your gun, you know I got made. They outside. All my niggas outside. My niggas outside.
The kind of like, again, discordant, slightly off-pitch way that he sang that chorus again added to the unnerving atmosphere, because it's like he doesn't give a crap. He's not trying to sound in tune. He's not trying to hit them G, B, C, D, E, F notes. He's trying to hit them A sharps. He's trying to like sound like he's defying the musicality a little bit in a very uncomfortable way, adding to that uncomfortability you're supposed to feel, because he's saying his guys is outside. There's no hiding or running from his guys. You guys was inside. They was in the field. They was out there doing the most. Let you know with the way he's saying the chorus, like, we outside. Like, he doesn't give a crap.
Call real niggas celebrating rats. Going on YouTube, running up these niggas' views.
Celebrating rats. We've got a very big, important rat in the industry. Self-proclaimed rat at this point. He doesn't really care. But of course, whenever I hear a rap bar in recent rap, it just brings me to that situation, because that's the most evident situation, the most recent situation that's happened. And, you know, saying people, all you so-called real people, are celebrating a rat. What does that say about you? That affects your authenticity, no? It's just crazy how the world is, because the success of this rat, this figure, is now in decline. But at first, when he first came back, he was mega celebrated. He was, you know, he was getting so much love and support. And, you know, it's crazy. I listened to this guy's music and I thought, you know what? Rat situation aside, you could have been a very good artist. You bring a good energy to the track. You bring a good atmosphere to the track, and I can appreciate that skill that you have. But there's a point where you kind of have to draw the line, otherwise people will start looking at you sideways.
Niggas celebrating rats, going on YouTube, running up these niggas' views.
He got the maddest views, yep.
Both sides, my nigga, you gotta choose.
You gotta choose, for real, listen.
Justify the shit in all those interviews, and the niggas in the comments say they would've did it too.
He's completely explaining the 6ix9ine situation. It's so funny. This is great. I love how he's just going in on that.
Seen a video on the news I couldn't believe. Another racist cop kill a nigga and get the lead. People on camera and don't get charged. We ain't taking no more, we ain't just pressing record. He reached for his ID, think he reaching for a strap. Shoot him in his back. What if it was my son? I wonder how I'm gonna react. I'm finna run up in this precinct with this Mac.
What's great about that is that at the first half of the song, you're hearing a lot more about, you know, the boss life, that gutter life, that life in the streets where he was hustling and leading it all, and you know, that dangerous life. You're hearing that, and then you hear the chorus, you know, we outside, and it's like, okay, cool, this is talking about that life, and you know, being outside, being really doing what you're saying you're doing. And then you hear the second verse, him really speaking on the Black Lives Matter movement, him really trying to put into perspective how it is for a young black man or a black man in a city with a system that doesn't really support him, because it was never initially made in support of him and his race. So of course it wouldn't do so. And therefore the struggles of that, again, reaching for your ID card, they think you're reaching for the strap. That bar there, just, he was literally spelling out the situation, giving you the perspective. And then it goes back to, oh, we outside, you know, and even and in the verse he said, you know, if you're killing one of us, you gotta kill us all. Like, if you're gonna kill my guy over there, you're gonna kill me, you're gonna kill us all, because we're all standing for that message, you know. So when he said that, and then put into the perspective the whole situation, showing you the injustice, and then it goes back to the chorus, oh my, it's outside, we outside. It kind of changed the meaning of the chorus a little bit. I started looking at the chorus a little differently. I started thinking, hold up. Maybe they're all outside because they're all standing for something. Because if you don't stand for something, you're going to fall for anything. So like, we're all outside. We're all in there, in the scene, because we're standing for something. I don't know if that's making sense. But you got a whole we outside phrase has always been one to validate someone's authenticity when they say that they're about what they're about. And so if you are about this movement, you would most likely therefore be outside, because you'll be doing what needs to be done to be about this movement. So in that sense, from the perspective of the second verse and then going into the chorus again, I'm just looking at the chorus differently, because it's like he's saying we're outside. Maybe it's because not only were they outside because of that life, but they may be outside because they're standing for something now. They have to stand for something, otherwise it doesn't look genuine if you're just half-assed supporting it. You got to support this movement with your whole heart.
It is a fire that is billowing and has been going for minutes now, really strongly, but you hear people cheering.
Oh, there you go. Again, he's put in like a reporter talking about the rioting and all that stuff. And it's just like, again, this is one Tupac video that I really like, because he literally explains in such an eloquent and creative way why things can get to that point, in which at first we was asking, please stop doing this. Please look into your heart, adjust yourself. And then, you know, that message and that song kind of changes from one that is a bit calm and collected to one that's a bit angry, because it's been like, what, 2 weeks now, 3 weeks now, 4 weeks, months, years now. It's going to be a bit more aggier, and to the point where it's just like, you're like 50 years later on, still singing the same. The song is definitely not going to be as calm and collected as it was back then. You're not going to be singing the blues like, oh, they got my brother again. You're not going to be doing that, because it's now gone on for so long that, you know, it's going to get to a point where you're at that extreme. Everyone gets pushed to the edge. Everyone gets past a certain point after experiencing something for so long, trying to stop it, and it's not stopped, and people aren't listening. So it's just funny, again, how I was talking about being outside, hearing the Minneapolis reporter talking about, you know, the rioting or whatever, again, highlighting that people was outside. They got to that point where they had to stand for something. And that's me, I'm not completely saying violence is the best answer, because then I would be supporting war and all these things. And I'm not necessarily that individual, but I'm just saying that everyone gets pushed to a point.
Driving that pussy like I'm treasure hunting. She ain't really my bitch, but she my bitch. Took her out the hood, now she leveled up. Act like the right whole city on that. We gon' get at niggas know what. We gon' get back, nigga. Let this bitch breathe. Don't bleed. Let that bitch breathe. Let that bitch breathe.
Goodness.
Let that bitch breathe. Let that bitch breathe.
produced this? Murder Beats. I was about to say, I can imagine Drake being in such a track. I don't like to, and I'm not bringing Drake in for the sake of bringing Drake in. I'm bringing it in because literally the way that the track came in, it reminded me a bit of like that kind of, I don't know, it just reminded me of that more modern hip hop sound. And then I saw Murder Beats, who has produced some tracks for Drake that have really been really successful tracks. I was like, yeah, cool, like that makes sense now. Why I was thinking like of a more modern hip hop artist on such a beat, because it's produced by a modern hip hop producer.
Streets, I ain't just another rap nigga. And that's a fact, nigga. There ain't no cap. We be signed.
Queen C's. When you see me, Queen C's bow down when you greet me. I'm full speed, I got the green. Push a coupe, boost, double O on the dash. Ain't about the money, it's fucking like Mr. Market. Married to the money, tell niggas I'm off the market.
Oh, I like Anza a lot. I feel like that is a really great new take that Conway was on there, and I like that it was refreshing to hear him on a different kind of sound, refreshing to hear Armani on that sound as well. It's really great to see the versatility of Conway.
A lot of things I can't take back, but I was trying to just get my respect. I catch the body when I ring. Jojo got shot, machine gun got shot. I start my verse saying their names to show we haven't forgot. I'm reminiscing for niggas trying to get what you got. My nigga Sos up in the feds, he been down for like 7. We fell out before he left. She ain't know not to take your cell phone when you hit a lick. Look, I'm from a sturdy block, ducking the dirty cops.
It ain't nothing left. I done seen everything with Jesus, I ain't scared of death. Yeah, I scraped that Paris till it ain't nothing left. Losses, bitch, I get my lessons. For a nigga get up off this shit, ready off this shit, gotta catch my blessings. Fuck a police key, seen slow on TikTok, and I said it's over for the streets.
I did a lot of shit that I regret. Yeah. I done a lot of things I can't take back. But I was trying to.
I like Seen Everything. There's a earnestness to the track. It sounds really. Again, these guys are expressing less the hardships of their lives, more so like the things that really got to them, things that affected them on a deep level, things that really made them upset. Again, we had as we heard Conway talking at the start about all the lives he's lost, one of them being Sheen Gun. But Freddie talking about, you know, his cousin's blood in his Nikes, having to wipe them off. He didn't have no Jordans or anything like that. Yeah, those hardships of life. Yeah, they talk about them a lot. Conway, Freddie, they talk about these things a lot. But in this track, it was a bit more about the deep effect it had on them.
As I see what they're doing, I think they gonna take it to the top, and it's
Griselda. Look, detect force. I whipped the fish up with a fucking hanger or a fork. Told that bitch, go ahead, sniff what you want. There's plenty more to snort. I had an outstanding, I pulled me over in my imported Porsche. She said, this car must be 100K. I said, you 40 short. My niggas dropping bodies for the sport. Via thought. I'm the machine, I fuck bitches you can't afford the court. Y'all clout chasing every verse you name. Honestly, don't give no fucks about being friends with a rapper, nigga. Griselda, these niggas making XP, Dot, and Elliot. Button, they can tell you best. Ask the homie Wayne to win them. They'll confess. A lot of albums are suddenly starting to feel a little more Griselda-esque.
He said Griselda-esque. He said, since we've been here, you guys have been taking on the vibes. You guys have really been taking on our scene. You sounding a bit more like us every day. You copying.
To sell the gate with an AK on the corner. Now reality TV bitches keep saying I'm gorgeous. I got the flooded AP. I'ma pay it regardless. Every other day is menages, racing garages. Made that bitch suck this dick until she say she exhausted. Keep the shooter with me.
Spaghetti AP. I go to sleep with the man. Wake up, brush my teeth with the man. And yo, favorite camera guy.
That's one toothbrush. He brushes teeth with the Mac. That's one hella. That's surpassed Oral-B and all that stuff. That's surpassed that vibrating toothbrush. That's a deep clean.
We getting stabbed, work the Michael, pick one. Tyson, Jordan, Jackson, Macton. My side bitch bump me and Tech 9 with a bow.
powder around the edges. This the crime that I perfected. I had to dodge a lot of questions from crooked homicide detectives in the rage. Yeah, I snap a finger, square, clap the Nina. You lost your bitch, I haven't seen her. The cash I bring this, but it sounded like Spurs 3. I earned keep now. Everybody trying to get a verse free.
Verse 3 is so hard. Of course, Benny at the end, his features is always rock solid. There is nothing sloppy about Benny's features. Westside was, of course, his quirky, unique self, bringing in that "hey yo" energy, just coming in with his unique flow on the beat. And Conway was as grimy as ever. I really love seeing all the Griselda members together. That's an instant favorite. Ooh! What is this? What is this beat? This beat has got a bounce to it.
Look, started from the bottom. We was just trying to get to the top. I love my niggas. I tell them we all we got. Dip out of class to link up in the hall. Sneaking to buy weed. Now we posted up at the Chinese store, hoping somebody would buy us a cigar. A young wild adolescence, packing a Western. Country mic front of me some work. I'm a package of sell on the battle. Got whatever on my man. Cap it to the hoes like, you know who this is, bitch. This the GOAT. And don't jump on the finger. No, I said I couldn't go. Stay here. He said I'm coming back. It might be late. 2 hours later, heard he crashed in a high-speed chase. That took my... Cause I know they wanna be me.
Of course they do.
Niggas that ain't here, I'm forever dropping tears. I never forgot about you through the years, man. I wish that you could see me.
That's it. El Camino was in Cartier. That's the vocals of what I've heard from El Camino so far is great.
And I hope heaven got a studio thinking about all the lives, including mine, that you impacted with this music world. Wish you a stride. Remember we fell out and had words that resulted in me throwing punches. See you a few weeks later at James.
But when it's real, I keep that 40 on me in the field, cause I know they wanna be me.
It's so smooth. This is like cocoa butter, shea butter smooth. Like, what the heck is this? It's got a thump and a bump to it, but then it's so smooth, and El Camino comes in the chorus. It's like, and I know they want to be me. Love how that whole verse there, second verse, was just really heartfelt from Conway, expressing the struggle of fighting with your brothers, and you know how you shouldn't really be holding any grudges because life is short, and before you know it, they're gone. It's insanity. I really like Forever Dropping Tears because it's sounding really, it's got a bump to it, still sounding dark because it's got this bass that's really dark, but then it's also sounding a bit sad with the storytelling that Conway's got, which therefore highlights the idea of forever dropping tears, because you're just always crying for one reason or the next. Like, you lost one bro this day, you lose another bro the next day.
Yeah, you gotta salute me. I'm in red.
You better salute me. You gotta salute me. You can't start with that. That's one of my favorite tracks from you. Yeah. This really has like a money go-getter kind of sound to it. It sounds like there's a hunt, there's a drive to it. It sounds like something that you would play in your car when you're on the move to go get your stuff done. You got things to do, you got errands to run, you got to listen to this kind of thing. It's got a kind of drive to it.
Red form, I'm back in my devil's reject bag. You gotta rebuke me. You gotta excuse me.
Oh no.
Don't lose me. And she will bring her friend with her, so I get a 2-piece. I usually got the throttle when the product cross body, I'm Gucci. I had rappers in my section trying to drink up my bottles like groupies. Ain't no rapper stopping my T3. That's the zone I'm in. No driver license, I drove a Benz. Everything I dropped, the album of the year contender. Here I go again. Made a few million, I barely announced it. Rapping, really getting the bands. Get my little sister a lamb. I came back to kill these niggas again. Lyrics written in braille, nigga, you gotta feel it to understand. Remember, I used to go put work and I would take the best shit. That's what we call the 38s to make sure they respect me.
This Crisis is like an instant favorite. This is like, oh, it's an instant favorite.
Look, every Cuban link is at least a kilo. Versus
he didn't have to go all soul on me. He didn't need to go all soul jazzy. What?
It's at least a kilo. Versus by the machine and the beat from Primo. My younger line you up clean, you ain't gotta go back to your barber. They love me for the fact that I'm actually harder. I probably sold crack to your mother and smack to your father. Can't get to you, then we fight, so I have to go harder. Story of my life, every chapter I alter.
Keeping it raw, nothing lasts so more.
They checking my release dates, them niggas is worried. Called me lacking before, but it didn't disturb me. Cause I just dropped another bag, I'm getting them buried. You fight to your life, that's 4 behind the wall, another 5 on post release.
Keeping it raw,
you know the streets.
lasts so more.
I like how they put in that Mobb Deep there. That's great for me. You know, Mobb Deep is one of the best duos in hip hop, so it's great to have that Mobb Deep input there in Nothing Less. That sample was great. Nothing Less, I just loved that beat. The production was so great. It was changing from like a soul jazz that had a little bit of that of course that keeping it raw, nothing less or more, and it's like chopping and cutting the beat, and you know, it's typical to that kind of like impact production. That was great for me. Really good ending. Again, there was sincerity there, there was a sadness there, kind of expressing everything that Conway's really gone through, all the people he's missing, and I guess kind of like how grateful he is because of where he's at. You know, there's people that didn't make it because they actually lost their lives, and he's happy, he's lucky, and I'm so appreciative of how far he's come despite what he's been through, being shot, all these things. So guys, we have come to the end of Conway's From King to a God, and it is an album, let me tell you that. It is an album that I have very much enjoyed. I enjoyed every single feature. Not one feature was misplaced or not needed. Every feature contributed in just the right way. I love how we had Blast from the Past with Method Man, Havoc. I love to see those guys there. And I love how we had females being represented here. We had Dej Loaf, we had Amani Caesar. We had my favourite Freddie Gibbs. We had all of the Griselda crew when we had Benny and Westside of them all on the track. We had El Camino, kind of younger Griselda member who's I've only come to listen to a few times as a feature. I need to listen to him a bit more. And then, you know, standard features I've seen with them before, like Lloyd Banks. So it's really good to see how every feature was just really present in this album and really contributed to the space of the album. I really like From King to a God because it displays this side of Conway that shows a lot of proudness in this achievement of being the lyricist that he is, you know what I mean? Conway has always been such a great lyricist from what I've heard so far. Every body of work I've heard from him has always just been so great to see how he puts words together and how he puts rhymes together. And not to say there wasn't a proudness then of himself and his that skill that he has, but I get it a lot more here, and rightfully so, because he's saying in this album he's going from a king to a god. This is a different status, this is a different level, so there's a different appreciation here that he has of himself. It's not the standard king status anymore. He's seeing himself as a god of it all. He's seeing himself as that goat status like no one can contend with, basically, because if you're a god, no one can contend with you. Not to say that I thought he was not confident before or lacked confidence before, just to say that before he was a little bit more, I don't know, and from what I've seen in his previous works, it's a lot more focused on like the street side of things and that life where he's from than actually the new journey he's partaking in terms of the rap industry. There was a lot more demand from respect on that side of his life than there was for the rap industry. The rap industry was just something else that he could do. That's what I got. That's the kind of sense I got from his previous bodies of work. Whereas this one here is like, no, like rap is not just something I can do. It's something I can do and I do it very good. So let's not belittle it and let's not just think I'm just a street guy. Like I am very much evidently both and have executed both sides of myself to the highest level. Do you know what I mean? Favorite tracks from this album, I really liked Fear of God. I loved Juvenile Hell. I loved Anza and the more modern hip-hop approach it had. Spurs 3 was brilliant. Forever Dripping Tears and Nothing Less and Jesus Crisis. Those last three, in fact, Spurs 3, Forever Dripping Tears, Jesus Crisis and Nothing Less was just a solid outro to the album. Those 4 tracks were just fire, 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 fire. Do you know what I mean? Nothing was lacking there. The tracks I probably listened to a little bit less is Doe and Damani, even though I did very much like that track. and possibly front lines. But I like those tracks for very singular reasons, which is probably why when I listen to them it'll be at particular times, because there's just something very particular about why I enjoyed each track. Whereas those other tracks, more all round, I enjoyed them for everything that they were doing. Do you know what I mean? In terms of criteria, did this album make creative sense? Yes, it did. I feel like it made all the creative sense. The production was great throughout. We had a mixture of productions. We had that DJ Premier production at the end. We had Murder Beats production. We had Daringa production. We had Alchemist. We had all these great hip-hop producers in this album. I like that diversity there because they really all did bring a different sound, and Conway tackled it all right each time. So I feel like creative wise this album was very great, because despite all the different types of producers we have and all the different like kind of energies they brought to the track, it was all cohesive. It really was. How many boom tracks? Loads of boom tracks. It's a 12-song album. I'm listening to like 10 of the songs thoroughly. My last criteria didn't take me on a journey, for sure. From King was so otherworldly at the start. It really felt like I was just literally entering into Conway's space of like his kingdom. From King literally felt like an introduction into Conway's kingdom, his domain, which he's running, and that domain that he's running is the rap game. So I really like how it kind of eased me into that. From King really a good ease into Conway running things, and then afterwards we got a bit more Aggie towards the middle, and again towards the end we got a bit reflective with Forever Dropping Tears, Jesus Christ Is Nothing Less. Those tracks seemed a little bit more reflective in terms of looking at the struggle and stuff like that. But throughout, to be honest, we had a very reflective Conway that was seeing what life had done to him before, his loved ones and himself, and really reflecting on that and talking about how that affected him. So that kind of also assisted the flow of the journey, because it was just like, yes, we are changing course a little bit. There's an underlying current still there of how this experience affects Conway. So overall, it's ticked all my 3 criteria, so it's gonna get a high rating. For me, it's probably gonna give it an 8. So yeah guys, that is my reaction and review to Conway's From King to a God. I hope you did enjoy. If you did, don't forget to give this video a thumbs up. Don't forget to smash the subscribe button down below and leave a comment down below of your thoughts. I'll see you guys all next time.